And many more.
Oh,
Yay.
You guys can hear me.
All right,
Hey,
excellent.
Raven is here.
Consenting to recording now.
Hey, Raven, I like that
Raven.
background.
Turned 67.
Nice background,
Raven.
Raven.
Wow.
Raven doesn't have a mic, or does she?
All right, well, happy birthday again, Tim.
Yeah. Hi, Alan.
Ooh.
All right, so
Backgrounds.
Ben, do you have anything else you'd like to discuss for business meeting?
Okay, so like I said, so every Friday at about 6, let's just make it at 6. Every Friday at 6, the 3 clubs will get together and present, like, I don't know, whatever you guys want to do, garage tours or whatever project you're working on. Just let us know what's it gonna be, and so we can post it, and we'll continue doing this every Friday.
I like it.
You guys up with that?
I like it.
Sounds good. We'll
Around the same time?
Same bad
Every
time.
Friday at 6. Yes.
No.
Yep.
All right.
Somebody has a project they would like to show, please let us know and we'll put you in. You know, you can have half hour, 15 minutes, and an hour, whatever you need.
Mhm.
Good. Okay.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, so I guess I'll show you a little bit of my lab here that I finally had an opportunity to clean. I haven't been out all this weekend, so I've been kind of cleaning up here. And then I found a lot of stuff I didn't know I had, so I can build a lot of things. So, all right, so let me begin with showing you a couple of things. So let me hold on one second.
Did you get that those Tesla links I sent you?
Yeah, thank you. I got to watch that.
It should be pretty good. Oh, wow. That's your garage?
Yeah, that's one corner of the garage. All right, so let me see. I got this pretty long cord here.
So you're on your laptop?
I am on my laptop and I have a webcam.
Hey,
Okay.
Walter, is there a way that you can just feature your window?
Yes, very good.
Because
Yeah, that's a good point. Let me do that.
Everybody talks, it's gonna switch over to them. Just like
IG11's coming pretty good there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
so
we
if
see
you,
your screen.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, there it is.
Can you see the full screen?
You see
Yes.
your computer
Yeah.
screen.
We
Yes.
can see your computer screen.
If you want to just see his feed, you just click that speaker view button, and then it maximizes Walter's screen. His video.
That's right. That's right. You can just say show active speaker window.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's a
that's right.
button. It's very nice. You can see everybody in the whole connection with one button, and then you can see just the speaker in the other with the other speaker button.
I'm looking at just Walter's screen right now. Looks like
Yeah,
he's
you're sharing your screen, Walter.
Top of his laptop there.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
then let
sharing
me-
screen now.
Okay, let me see if I can not share the screen.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, I might be a Jawa later on in some kind of a thing. So I got this thing from I applied to be a Jawa, character. And so Lucasfilm accepted my application, so that's really good.
Oh, so you might get some screen time or something?
Maybe if they need a giant Jawa.
A giant Jawa.
Congratulations.
A 6-foot Jawa.
6'1" Jawa, yeah. All right, let me see how the heck do I unshare this thing.
Oh, I see. Yeah, we're seeing it. Yeah, I'm seeing your desktop.
You still see the desktop?
No, we see your garage.
You got your Zoom thing going on there. Michael.
Right.
I don't see
Alright.
the garage.
Can you see the garage on the full screen?
Now we do, yes.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
can
wow.
see the garage. Where do I click?
You're still sharing your desktop though.
Oh,
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Let me see. How do I unshare?
So on the top of the window, go ahead.
Oh,
click on
he's
the
doing
option,
both.
and then
Right
select-
at the top. Yeah. There you
You
go.
can
How about now?
No saben lo que
If
son.
you go to
Oh.
if you can go to full screen mode, you can see just one of them. That's what I did, full screen mode, and just look at the garage alone, or the other.
Yeah, so on the top of your screen on your laptop or desktop, Walter, you have a little green bar, and then to the right, you have something that says View Options.
Yeah.
Either by clicking on that or clicking on the down arrow, you'll have an option to exit or stop sharing.
There we go, right there. You should see the stop sharing or,
Yeah, do you see the stop share button in red? On the
Yeah,
very top of your screen?
Yeah. Wait.
right, what-
Yeah, where it says ID 720 blah 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 and in green.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay,
There we
good.
go.
There we are.
There we go. Speaker view. There we go.
Hey, is
All
that,
right.
that's your bigger printer?
Bigger printer. All right, so let me see if we can do this.
Okay. Wow, it's a big garage.
Why don't we start off with here? All right, I'll start off with a few projects here. So this is the giant C3PO. And this is my own version of C3PO. It's all 3D printed.
How many parts?
Oh, there's a whole bunch of 3D printed parts in here. I don't even remember, but this was the first thing that I printed that was big.
All right, guys, I'll be right back. I got to right back. I got to do something. Be right back.
Understood.
Hey, just a quick thing. If you go
Those
to
were
mute your
printed
microphone.
during the California earthquake. Remember in July we had that earthquake? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I
Yes.
do.
Yes, but
Okay,
every
so in
time
July
somebody
we had
speaks,
that earthquake.
We can hear you, but your bandwidth is low.
Yeah, I saw that. Let me see if I can fix that a little bit. Yeah, that's strange. I only have like one bar for the bandwidth. Huh. Anyways, let me show you this thing here. Never mind. A little short circuit there.
What was that? Don't start a fire.
Definitely not.
That's
On
my
camera
high
fire.
voltage. That's my high voltage
Cool.
switch.
So this is Buzz. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, good.
Good. All right, so that is C3PO, and it's all 3D printed. Eventually, I want to do some animatronics with it. But, I haven't done any animatronics. Right now, it's just a static figure, but it is painted a little bit different, and it has different color schemes. That's because, from my understanding, they want to for the movies and the TV shows they're doing, they want to use things that are a little bit different colors and different color schemes.
Well, this is a protocol droid. It's not necessarily C3PO.
Exactly, yeah.
Walter, can you rotate
Now-
them a little bit so we can see the front?
Well, let me see. It's kind of tight because he's right against the wall there, the garage door.
Is he assuming the position?
All
I
right.
don't know if you can
Wall.
there, but, I will give it a try. Hold on. I got a little bit more slack.
I don't.
There we go. Here we go.
Uh-oh, it went black.
Hmm.
Oh, I see.
Lost video. Oh, wait a minute.
Still showing Walter Martinez.
No, if you go to tile mode, you can see what Walter's doing.
Yeah, I pinned
no.
his screen and I got a big view of him right
Right. You just click on pin
Oh, I
video.
just click on him. Sometimes
Okay.
sometimes the who's speaking doesn't work, right?
Yeah, so a couple of tips for those of us that are new to Zoom. The way Zoom is designed is that the loudest person generally gets front and center and their video shows. If your video camera is enabled, and then you have a blank screen with your name if you don't have video. So a couple of tips. If you don't think you're going to be speaking for a while, if you mute your microphone, you won't accidentally take over the video feed of everyone else. And for those of you that are on PC or Mac, for instance, right now, Walter's presenting. So if you want to make sure that his video is always showing, just right click and select pin video, and it'll make sure that his video is always front and center, even if someone else is talking.
Oh, nice. That's a good point. Thanks.
Thank you, Alan.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Alan.
Alan.
Can't do that when you're on the phone, though, I don't think.
Mr. Zoom. All right, so that's that. And over here, these are R2D2 wooden legs that I'm working on. And Rob has some of these also. We kind of have been working on it together. So these are the wooden legs. Actually, when I paint, I already had my painter's mask with you know, specialized filters and all that.
I bet that was expensive.
This is R2D2's. These are gonna be his drives. Some nice heavy duty NPC wheelchair motors.
Is that a wheelchair wheel or what is that?
These are wheelchair motors. I don't know if you guys have ever used the National Power Share NPC. They sell a lot of surplus wheelchair motors.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. This is a 3D printed foot for R2D2, but I'm not sure if I want to go this route. I may have to buy the metal ones.
Looks cool though.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool. Oh, here's another hand from R2. This is really cool. I got these guys on eBay. These are electric wheelchair motors and they're brushless. So these ones they were from a $2,000 wheelchair, and you can get these things used on eBay, both of them for $150, free shipping. So I found this, scored this deal on these really super expensive motors with wheels.
Yeah, what were they? 12 or 24 volt?
It can go both.
Okay.
The only thing is now I got to find a nice brushless motor controller for it. So.
Oh.
All right, so this guy right here, he's a smelter droid from Star Wars.
How far have you built it up?
That one is done. It's all complete.
Even with it, you scaling it down, it's pretty big.
I know, it's a 90% scale. Otherwise, it would be like 7 foot tall. So this is about almost 6 feet tall.
How long take?
That's if you go to Galaxy's Edge, you will see him turning the it's like roasting a pig or something, and this guy is like turning.
Yeah, it's in that one restaurant.
Yeah, saw him.
Yeah,
took a selfie with him.
Yeah. So that's the one. So that one was pretty cool to build. And here's BD1. This is from the video game. From that new video game, Star Wars video game, Fallen Order is called the video game. And so that guy, I have like a backpack setup, so I can put him,
yeah, you made him bigger than normal.
This is probably like 30% bigger than the actual video game. Now, a cool thing about this one is that the color, I built this 6 months before the video game came out, and I gave it this rusty color scheme. And guess what? The video game makers, guess what the option that they have now on their video game? A rusty color BD1.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. So I asked, hey, so what's up with that? And they say, yep. I guess they liked what I did. But the original color from the video game is white and red.
Right, right.
Yeah, this is a rusted color, and now it's an
Por favor de ese video game no incluía el color rusty. Y ahora sí.
Sorry, I can't hear you. Oh.
That was a little garbled.
Oh, okay. All right. This is this guy is called IG-11.
Ellos me escucharon hablar, pero ya todos se pusieron calladitos. Pero ya puse mi botón de mute. Se me chispoteó.
Maybe we should mute everybody. All right, so this is IG-11 from The Mandalorian, and he's got this little detonator here. And basically every time that he's ready to give up or he's cornered, he wants
I will
to,
initiate self-destruct.
yeah.
No.
So the little detonator falls down over here in the middle of his chest and starts to blink, saying that he's ready to be blown up.
It's funny.
Yeah,
I'm just watching.
That'd be fun to animate that.
So this is a 3D printed part. This is how it comes out of the printer. And then what I do is I apply some primer to it. So I spray on some primer filler. You can use all kinds of color primer fillers, but I like to use this reddish looking one. It's kind of hard to see, but actually,
Yeah, I got a can of that for my Yoda stuff.
This is a good example. This is all being primed. Then I have to sand it pretty nicely. Once it's sanded, then I go ahead and paint it. So then you just apply some coats of paint, and then it becomes
that silver,
whatever color you want.
Okay.
All right, these are the IG-11 legs. He's gonna be really tall. You can already see it's actually all I have to do now is glue a few things, and he's pretty much done. All right, so this is one of my tall printers, so I can print small and tall parts in here. This is a CraftBot XL. It's a company, what company, where is it at? I want to say Austria or one of those countries. This is all metal. This is really, really heavy. And it's a really reliable printer. I haven't had much problems with it. But some of the things that I use sometimes, it depends on the part. Some Aquanet, right? 80s hairband Aquanet. You know, you need your spatula to remove the parts. You have your filament, right? So I've gone through a lot of filaments. All those little boxes you see over there, I mean, I had like stacks up to the roof with little empty boxes. This is a little workstation. All right, so I actually have this poster signed by the artist right there.
I see your large Yoda over there.
Yeah, these are all the different robots that we're familiar with and that we love. And you can see I'm a big fan of C-3PO, so C-3PO is probably my favorite droid. Got a lot of C-3PO stuff. And this one right here, this is an IG-88 head. And this guy is not 3D printed, but they use a 3D printed model to make this one. And I forget what material this is. But I'm going to animate this for Star Wars Celebration. So I'm working on this thing. And I got to figure out how I'm going to do it, but it's going to be fun. These are those kits that I created a few years ago. And that's Baby Yoda, one of the Baby Yodas. So that's also 3D printed. The original idea behind this guy is you get to print it and then you give it away to charity or people who, you know, who would like to have one but can't afford one or can't get one. So I've done about 6 of this size. And now now that I have a little bit more time, I've done about 3 more of this size in a different color. And so like Monday, I'm sending this guy to a nurse in North Carolina. One of my cousins is a nurse. And, you know, I noticed that she loves Baby Yoda since last December. So I finally got around to doing one, and I'm going to surprise her with that.
Hey, is that one of the Hanson Robotics characters there?
Yeah, that little guy, that's Einstein, Professor Einstein from...
Yes, the little small character, yeah.
Yeah, that's Hanson Robotics.
Yeah.
The idea was good, but I'm kind of bummed that they are not supporting the firmware on it, so I can't do anything with it. If you have an old firmware, they won't let you upgrade it anymore, and so it's kind of like just sitting there. All right, so here's a whole bunch of other robots. Now, one of the interesting things that I've gotten into lately is the art of creating this thing. So I've learned a lot about paints, paint brushes. I even bought a
Airbrush.
airbrush machine, and I'm learning how to airbrush with different kind of brushes.
Yeah.
Here's my attempt to Johnny
that's not
5, mini Johnny 5, but Rob
That's
has the real one. The
That's
big
that robot.
one.
You had it.
That's my
That's that
mini,
robot you put in that contest.
mini Johnny 5. Those are all the parts from when I used to sell the kit. So I would come here and I would grab all the pieces from all these containers, and then I would put them in the boxes from a spreadsheet, you know, that I had, and then I would ship them out. All right, I really like working with electric wheelchair motors, as you can see. I got a whole bunch everywhere. They're cheap. They can carry up to 600 pounds. You know, you put 12 volts on it. They're already geared perfectly, and they're easy to mount on any frame that you make. So I have a lot of controllers for this kind of stuff already. So it's really cool to do. Just some tools and a bunch of different screws. This right here is my 3D printed R2D2. Well, this is an R7. It's got an R2D2 body, but it's got an R7 head dome. So this guy is also 3D printed. This is all plastic. It was 3D printed on that giant 3D printer, right? I don't know if you see it, but that blue thing is the giant 3D printed. Which, by the way, right now it needs some fixing. I need to redo the extruder there.
What's wrong with that one?
Oh, the extruder, the cable kind of wore out from all the movement, so I have to redo the cabling, resolder it. These are also 3D printed legs. So imagine printing these things, it takes forever. So the dome took 6 days straight, 24/7, right? All these things take forever. This is this guy is 3 different rings. It's not perfect, so I might I'm still gonna make it animated, but it's not going to look perfect. The one that's gonna look perfect is my wooden one that I'm building over there. That's my second R2D2.
Oh, you got a plastic wood
Walter,
model?
Yeah.
Walter, for those of us in the audience who may not be aware of your recent printer exploits and that head, do you want to talk for a minute about what that means to print a single head in one piece in 6 days?
Yeah, so so Alan is right. There's a few things to note about this. So this was printed without supports at all.
How did you do that?
This was printed in all. The guy who modeled it modeled the angles just perfectly so that you wouldn't have to waste any materials. The other thing is, you know, you have to worry about power outages. So I have a backup UPS back there. I don't know if you can see the UPS right there. So that'll keep it going for like about 45 minutes or maybe less, 35 minutes. And so this is going 24/7 for 6 straight days. This right here, and the reason why I have this is actually a fire extinguisher. So if your garage starts to catch on fire because this particular power supply, I heard that it catches on fire every now and then. So I have this fire extinguisher here. So if it catches on fire, this will extinguish the entire area of this table right here. So it's
automatic.
Yeah, it's kind of expensive. I think it's like $150 for that ball right there. But you know, it secures your area. You don't have to be here 24/7. It'll just extinguish the fire.
Cheaper than a garage.
What was the brand name on it? Blaze Fire or Blade Fire? What was the name, the brand name on it?
Oh, Elide.
Oh, Elide Fire. Okay, I read
Elide Fire. Yeah.
Thank you.
You can get it on Amazon, and it comes with the little stand.
Worth every penny.
Oh yeah, exactly. Exactly. Check out the videos, and you can see the area that it extinguishes.
Hey Walter, what's that white domed looking robot with the glass front there, or the?
This is a pit droid from episode 1. This is a folded. This is a folded pit droid. So is this guy, this blue guy, folded. So when it folds,
Oh, you
it
made one
looks like
blue?
that.
Wow.
Yeah,
when-
if you remember episode 1, the pod racers, and there's some mechanic droids. The mechanic droids are these guys.
Yeah, little pit
Wait.
droid.
When they, yeah, the pit droid, when they get scared, they fold up like this.
Oh, they're in the Mandalorian too, right?
They're
I
in the
mean, it's-
Mandalorian. Yeah,
yeah.
they're
Touch
the
their nose.
ones.
One
Yeah, they're
episode
the
was
ones
the Tatooine.
servicing the chip, the Mandalorian.
Yeah, they service the show. I'm just watching it now. So
Yeah, it's the one they went to back to Tatooine on.
Yep.
Yeah, that's that guy.
Wow.
Here's the back of the smelter droid. It's got a few little cool details on it. I really like that guy. I wish we can animate that guy. I saw a guy already animating the IG-11 head. He's doing a really good job so far. So I seen it on the Facebook group, and he's doing a great job. This one over here, that's also from episode 1. That's a battle droid. I don't know if you remember that guy. This is where there's an army of these guys. They all look the same.
I guess.
So
I just
that's a
remember the-
battle. That's a battle droid.
The lightsabers would cut them like butter. Like
Yeah. Exactly. So a few little tools. You know, I got all the basic tools that everybody has. You know, drill press.
I don't have a drill press at home.
Kinds of things. Well, most people have it. Yeah. Oh, this is
most people. Most people don't have a garage like that.
Oh.
Oh, I don't have a garage at home.
I know. That's what I forget. Not everybody has a big old
I mean,
problem like I do.
let me turn my camera around. You can see it. I'm in my bedroom. You can see where my setup here is in my room here. I'll turn around.
Oh yeah, that's right. Tim has a little area there.
That's
All right.
This is in my bedroom.
Nice.
Yes, Tim.
So this is the in move, and all of you have seen Alan's in move, and you know that after I saw Alan's in move, I said, oh, I can build one of those guys. So little did I know, you know, it was my first big project, and yeah, it was a lot of work. I mean, it's a big 3D printed project. So yeah, this one was a lot of work. I did manage to add some wheels on it so that it can run around, and I added a remote control for it so that I took him to.
And if you want to see the mess in my living room, take a look at this.
Yeah. So one of the cool things I did with this one is I added this this brain link thing. So it's an EEG, and so you put this on your head, and you can read up to like 3 different waves, you know, brain waves. And so I grabbed those signals and I put it into a little Bluetooth module down there, and then I converted those signals into commands to make it move as your brain developed different concentration levels. So as you concentrated, you were able to make it move, you know, forward, backwards, left, and right, or shake a hand. And so that was a pretty interesting
Must
project.
take a lot of time.
So I did that for the movie Pacific Rim. I don't know if you remember the movie Pacific Rim, but
oh yeah, what about?
Yeah, so I did some promotion, and they wanted to see that it was possible to control a big robot with your thoughts, basically. And so that was kind of fun to do that. It was a cool project.
Did
All
it,
right.
it worked? It worked pretty well. I mean, what was the outcome there? Like, could you reliably move it right, left, up, you know, forward, backward, or
Yes,
anything?
yes, but only if you reach that specific concentration level. If you went beyond that or above that, you wouldn't. So the concept was, as you focus more, your concentration level increases, and when you reach that level, you can convert that into a motion. But the problem was that you have to get to that top level, but then you have to go to the bottom level. So it was doing all the bottom levels first to get to the end result that you wanted.
Yeah, it's like a linear thing.
It's a linear thing, exactly. Now,
you can't, it's not random access.
Exactly. It's not random access. Now, the guy from Tesla, he's developing one with his company that has, I think it's 2,400 channels. So imagine the one that I bought. It's got 3 channels and it's unidirectional, right? So I can only receive signals. He's developing one that you can put on your head that has 2,400 channels that are bidirectional. So,
Oh, gee.
you can send a signal to the robot, and then the robot can send a signal back to you.
How does that signal get in?
Well, it's plugged into your brain somehow.
Yeah, I'm afraid of that.
So the robot can say, hey, I don't like that, so why don't you do the dance for me? And then you're going to have to start dancing.
Well, this sounds like the beginning of the end for.
Hey,
for
I'm looking forward to that.
robotic relationship.
Yeah, exactly. So again, you know, imagine having this printer, that printer, and then this is my third printer. And this one right here has a direct drive, meaning I can print different materials with it, not just PLA. This is the one that I use for PETG, for example. It prints PETG really nicely. And this is the artillery printer.
I heard about that one.
Yeah, it's an inexpensive printer. And I think at the time when I bought it was $249 or something like that.
Your Creality printer is what, 2 sizes larger than mine?
Well, it goes 18 by 18 by 18.
Amor, ¿quieres ver la junta de los del Riverside?
By 14 by 15. So yeah, you're big. You're twice as big.
Yeah, that's my original in move.
Es que está mostrando su garage lleno de robots.
That's the original e-move. Unfortunately, I printed that one so fast and I made so many mistakes. So right now it just kind of hangs up there.
It's just hanging around.
Just hanging around. Oh, one of the other things I wanted to show you, you might be interested in this. These are the linear actuators that Diego designed. These are stepper motor based linear actuators. And so I put them back there so that he could bend. He can bend, you know, bend down and go up again.
So bend at the waist.
Yeah, he would bend at the waist. So there's a pivot point right here.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Yeah, and then he would bend down. You have these guys that are kind of flexible also inside. So anyways, but, oh, this right here, it's a Dio that I have not completed yet, you know, from the latest Star Wars.
Oh, that's the little single wheel robot, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have all the 3D printed pieces somewhere down there, but I just haven't had time to work on it. Maybe now that we're stuck indoors. Like
Oh, I'm getting inspired. I want to finish one of the Yodas here, and then I want to start working on doing Captain Rex.
You should. So one of the advantages of doing all these things, you get invited to a lot of events and a lot of parties and things like that. So I went to a viewing party of The Mandalorian, and one of the actors was there. He was one of the bounty hunters in the pub, right? The cantina in there.
Oh yeah, okay, okay.
So I had him sign it over here on the leg.
Oh, he signed your
Yeah, I brought it.
battle droid, yeah.
Yeah, I brought the battle droid, and then he signed it, so that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so real quick, this is a giant laser cutter. So this is what I use to cut the chassis from the kits.
Is that cut out of wood or plastic? I can't tell.
This is wood. This is compressed wood from Ganal lumber.
Uh-huh.
It almost feels like as strong as acrylic. It's really strong, really straight. You know, it's really nice material. I really like it. I can also do acrylic. You can see.
Oh, that looks nice.
Acrylic pieces. And so that's the setup right there that I have. I had to buy.
Was that a Bosch brand? The laser printer. I mean, the laser cutter. Or is that a Radiant? What brand is that?
No, the laser cutter is one of those Chinese ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, That's a nice one, Walter.
It's 80 watts, but I don't know that it's truly 80 watts. But it's pretty good. I mean, it cuts really nice. I had to get this giant thing here so that to get the fumes out of here.
Oh, so you have did you have to buy it separately, the whole cleansing air cleaning system there?
Yes, I did.
And then it
Yep.
goes to the outside.
I had to do some research how that works and what I needed, and then I was able to do it. Yeah.
So that's like a big part of any kind of laser cutter system. You got to get that squared
Yeah, you
away.
gotta get the fumes out of there. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a mouse droid. You can see one on the Mandalorian. Actually, I know the guy who built the one for the Mandalorian that you saw. It's all it is really from the Star Wars. It's just a little guy that sits on top of an RC truck. And then what they do
RC
is they
car?
put all these little, they call gribblies or gribbles, and they just put like random parts on it to make it look cool. And yeah, that's part of the Star Wars world.
Dressed it up with that.
Yeah.
There's
Here's
another pit for you.
this
Maybe
is
one.
an animated pit droid. This is from animated
It's
series
green.
of TV. There's an animated.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's about it. So it's a lot of stuff, you know, a lot of different things here, but all these things take a long time. I started printing back in June of last year, and that's you know, I finished all these different ones here. People ask me, hey, how did you come up with the color scheme for these things? Well, one time I was well, somebody says, can I come visit? One time I was just driving and I saw a bus, like a metro bus, and then I saw a taxi cab. And then I thought, oh, those are pretty cool colors. I want to do a combination like that for it. So
Oh, that's
I
where you
named
got the
this-
yellow and blue coloring.
Yeah, so this guy is named UBER, Uber. So yeah, by the way, they all have names. All these different droids have different names.
How long did it take to do the smelter droid? How long did it take to print that?
That one probably took about 2 months. But remember, I do this when I come home after work or weekends every now and then when I have time. I probably put a couple of hours every day on all these things.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
Your IG-11 looks great, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Everything
what's
looks
the
great.
latest?
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's a couple of hours every day without fail. I mean, I don't think there's a day that goes by that I don't do something for a couple hours in here.
Which one's the latest? Your latest couple of couple of models that you've built?
Well, the IG-11 is the latest that I
That's
have not finished. So this guy, we need to put those legs on it. Need to put those legs, and then there's a few little details that I need to finish on it as well. That are on
You're
this
making
table.
a PVC dummy for it or something?
Exactly, yeah. So that's the core. So inside of it, inside the core, there's going to be this PVC pipe glued inside so that it reinforces the entire body. So the whole body throughout will have PVC pipes glued inside, and it'll reinforce everything.
You won't be able to pose them very well, it looks like.
No, not this one. Yeah, but they're all pretty much poseable, which is pretty cool.
What is that word? Poseable?
Poseable, yeah.
Poseable or post? It's like a strike a pose.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You
Okay.
can move them so that they pose, you
I
know,
got it.
however you want to. But the next step is I want to do some finished details on the paints and do some weathering on it. I'm learning weathering techniques. And then the next thing is going to be animating a few things on it and see how I can animate some of the stuff. Yep. And that's it.
Awesome. Very cool.
Sure.
All right, so
Great.
Mr. Walter, just so we're setting the bar as high as possible, would you be able to give us a count of how many robots are in your garage?
Wow. Okay. I don't know. What the-
50, 100.
there might be 15, I think, maybe.
At least.
Probably
Oh
about
my
15 of them
goodness.
there.
Hey,
But-
Alan.
Yeah.
Alan,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
That robot behind you on your I think
Yeah, I think Tim is
Sure.
breaking there.
Yeah, Tim, you're kind of breaking up.
shoulder.
buddy.
It's
Not-
max headroom.
This one?
It's not your. Oh, go ahead.
All right, so this is my end move on this side. And on the other
The yellow
side
one.
is one of about 8 examples in the house of an Omnibot 2000.
Yeah, I have the lower wheels to one of those. Have you ever made that run by itself?
Yeah, yeah.
Or I
That's
need to
a
talk
good
to you about
base.
that because I picked up a set of the wheels for that. I
Okay.
want to make it do something. I'll talk to you about it later or something.
For sure. So, so Walter, you said that you started printing out a lot of stuff in June.
Yeah.
How many Star Wars bots have you printed out since you got that big printer?
Maybe 10 or about 10 of them, maybe.
Holy moly!
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Now, you haven't seen the giant box Tupperware I have of failed parts. So nothing ever
Oh, yeah, I
works.
mean, I got a-
Nothing ever works perfect. I mean, I have a giant box full of failed parts, which are going to be
Several
used.
tries to get it right, you know.
Yeah, they're going to be reused. Those parts could be used for props or something.
The island
yeah.
of unwanted toys.
Yeah, I know
Or
it does
droid.
look like a toy store. It's all these different color schemes that I picked.
I mean, that's where you put the failed parts. Go to an island, the island of failed parts.
Yeah, and I actually
Oh,
have
yeah,
them
like the
out.
Mr.
I
Toys.
have them outside so that they start to deform and grab spider webs, and I want them to look like they're used and old and wrecked, and so they're outside right now getting the sun and getting warped because PLA starts to warp. And then
Oh,
I'm just
come
gonna
apart.
basically put in some primer and different paint schemes on it, and it's gonna look like a whole bunch of old parts. Just like
Yeah.
you see, just like
Yeah,
you see
you
in
need
Star
somebody
Wars.
who wants a whole bunch of robot parts. You'd be all set, man.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Thanks,
Yeah, I
Walter.
wish you could have seen some
Well,
of the
thank
stuff
you.
I worked on in the past. Unfortunately, since they're in theme parks and stuff, it's hard to show people.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Well, thank you.
Somebody, one last question. Somebody asked, how long did it take to print the pit droid? So the pit droid probably took, they all, it takes at least a month and a half to 2 months to print each one.
Yeah, just do it in little pieces here and there until you get the whole thing, all the
Yeah.
parts printed out.
Yeah. All right. So Alan, do you want to do your thing?
Sure. Yeah, it looks like Thomas is here a little bit early. We've got a lot of stuff going on. So if you'd like, if you want to unpin and then pin my video, so I'm front and center. First off, just as everyone mentioned, thank you all for coming. We've got 3 clubs represented here tonight. The whole idea is to keep up a cadence of hopefully one short meeting a week, just to keep the ball rolling. And then at least for the Long Beach Club and hopefully the Riverside Club, we'll start and continue to broadcast our meetings once we're allowed to meet in person again. But until then, I think this is great. Thanks, Ben and Walter, for setting this up.
Got it, Alan.
So let's see. Let's go ahead and click on this. So for the past couple of months, I've been giving a couple of guest talks on the Todd project of various aspects on the Riverside side. So I'll probably take about 20 minutes today talking about one small aspect of the project that didn't sound like it was going to be complicated and weird, but ended up being pretty complicated and weird. I'm going to go ahead and share my, Walter, can you enable screen sharing for guests? Oh, Walter, you're on mute. I'm sorry. Yeah, so for those of you not in the know, Zoom has become the planet's most popular video conferencing tool, which is super awesome. But we have some bad actors out there that are Zoom bombing other people's teleconferences and taking over screen sharing and displaying things that you probably wouldn't want to show your kids. So what we noticed last week that before last week, anyone could share their screen without prompting, which was great and it was super easy. But they just recently made a change so that the host has to allow that to keep those bad people from logging in and then just sharing weird stuff without without permission.
Oh, that's good that they fixed that.
Hey, Jimbo.
Hey, Thomas. Fancy seeing you here.
Guys, can you mute your mics?
What is Adam seeing?
All right, so as we're getting started, I just wanted to share a super quick clip. I know Walter shared this last year. Walter's InMove is kind of famous. It being mobile, it was able to wander around the campus during tech days and to meet different students and people on campus. I'm gonna turn the audio off. It's just people talking, but it was a very cool effect and it was very well received. I spooled this up while we were talking earlier.
Oh, is that your one robot walking around?
Yeah, that's the orange one, this guy right here. Yep.
Yeah.
Is that your screen I'm seeing there, Alan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so, okay, so a little bit of background. Let me go ahead and switch the camera over to Todd. I think you guys can still hear me while I do this. Let's see, let me stop share. That should go to
Oh, there he is.
my camera. All right, so a lot's happened over the past couple of months. There's a fully set up 3D model that can be used in ROS. The Raspberry Core is this framework and downloadable image that you can download and install onto a Raspberry Pi Zero W. And then all you have to do is power it up and figure out how to connect to it. It makes setting up ROS appliances very easy. The image by itself, downloadable ROS image, supports a 9-axis IMU, 16-channel PWM driver, an ultrasonic driver, and a camera interface. We've talked about that before. And you can really turn on or off any of those features as you need. And I'm trying to position this as a way to smarten up smaller devices. And to put ROS into things that normally ROS wouldn't fit. The whole idea is ROS just provides a communication framework for smaller robots. And then all of your smarts happen on your desktop or laptop. There is one release. I'm going to release another version over the next couple of weeks with a script. I'd actually lost the original file, and instead of just doing the entire thing over from scratch, I opted to write down what the setup process was. And so I'll include that script in the GitHub. For, oh, we got some feedback there.
Feedback.
Yeah, somebody's microphone got feedback.
Okay, I'm not near my microphone, so.
Please mute if you don't need it.
Yeah, for sure. It's a
Thomas,
good
you're
reminder.
sideways.
In groups such as this, if you're not planning on talking for a minute, just go ahead and mute your mic. It makes it easier for everyone else on the call. And if it's a situation like this where you have one person that's talking and you don't want the video focus to be shifted from the speaker to someone else who is talking, you can go ahead and right-click on their video or presentation feed and select pin. And it'll make sure that your selected speaker is front and center. And this is a great format to use for up to a couple of dozen people. Zoom will support up to 300 simultaneous people, but at that point, it's not so much a conversation as a presentation where one person takes the reins and shows something to the other 299 people. So yeah, I was able to put everything into a script. The script takes about an hour to run on a Raspberry Pi 4. Lord knows how long it would take on a Raspberry Pi Zero, but at least you can see everything that goes into that downloadable image. And I'll have an updated version available over the next couple of weeks. And so that's the basis, the framework of what I'll show you today. So when you're designing robots in motion and you're working in simulation, all of your angles are perfect. When you say something's at 0 degrees, it's at 0 degrees. Let me go ahead and Ross launch, Todd the quad, type 2, bring up .live, bring up .live.launch. So while this is coming up, here's what's happening. And yeah, I'm pretty famous for overcomplicating things. So there's a lot of stuff going on with the ROS stack at a very high level when you're doing a ROS solution, when you're using the ROS framework to do something interesting in ROS or to solve a problem. You'll stack together a series of programs that communicate. So for those of you that are writing an Arduino code and you're writing a monolithic program from beginning to end, it may seem a little bit weird or strange, but when you start getting into more complicated problems where you have multiple programs that need to run at the same time and communicate with each other, the ROS type framework really works out well. So one of the first things that I want to show you is that in simulation and on the robot, when you're defining angles and joints, the way this robot is defined and the position you see it now, every servo is at the 0 degrees position. So what that means is to move one direction, you'll move in a positive degrees direction. And if you want to move in the other direction, it'll be a negative degrees direction. And because these servos are 180 degrees, you can go, the theoretical maximum and minimum is plus 90 and minus 90. Now I want to point something out to you. So in RViz, which is the robot visualizer, this is the robot's understanding of the position it has in the world right now. Everything is absolutely perfectly aligned. Everything's perfect at 0. This is the neutral position for all the servos, and all is well. I want to show something to you now. So that's what it looks like in a perfect world. I'm going to go ahead and switch off the screen sharing and go back to the camera. And as of right now, when you're looking at the robot, everything also looks squared up, just like in RViz, right? The thing is that this is what you expect when you build and design a robot, but this isn't the way it started. Let me show you what happens when I tear down the framework and the robot goes to what it thinks, the physical robot thinks is its 0 position. So I'm going to shut down the entire stack. And in a couple of seconds, you're going to see the servos jump to a different position. And as you can see right now, nothing is really lined up, nothing's square. So here's kind of why that is. Let me switch the camera back on me for a second. There we go, so you don't have a, talking into space. So in simulation and in math, your 0 degrees is 0 degrees, pretty straightforward. And when you control a servo, for those of you who have used the Arduino and the servo object and the servo library and have said, I want this servo to go to 0 degrees or 90 degrees or 180 degrees, and it goes to a position, your assumption is probably that it's going to literally that position in real life, but that's not the case. These RC servos are approximations. And the way that they are originally designed, even your digital servos and the ones that are super expensive are supposed to be super precise. They're being controlled with hand controls. So they're a radio controlled car or copter or boat or something. And you have this closed loop hand-eye coordination between the position and direction of your car and then the position of your thumb. And you're changing that around in real time to get your car or buggy to go where you want it to. it's not accurate. It was never supposed to be accurate. So what's happening right now is there's some code running on the robot, and the robot says, okay, if I don't get any commands from a computer in 10 seconds, I think, I'm going to go back to what I believe to be the 0 position. And it ends up being like 1500 microseconds, but the PWM wave is from 0 to 65,536. So you have to do some math to figure out where that is. So it defaults to essentially the 0 position. But as I switch the camera back, you'll notice that it doesn't look that way at all. Some of the legs are a little bit forward, some are a little bit backwards, some are in, some are out. And that's for a couple of reasons. Reason number one is that based on how it's assembled, there's no guarantee that when you put your servo horn on what it thinks is the 90 degrees, it is actually 90. It could be a little bit lower or it could be a little bit higher. So when these things are assembled, I say, hey, servo, put yourself on, in Arduino speak, 90 degrees, and the servo moves to that position, and then you assemble it and you screw in the servo horn. But we've got, everyone's off by like 5 or 10 degrees. And it's not because I'm not careful assembling it. You'd think there's like 18 or 22 tines or, tines on the top of each servo horn. It's impossible to get perfect. And then even beyond that, when you look inside the servo, let me see if I've got a servo open right now. Let's see. When you dig inside a servo, let me see if I can get the camera to focus on this. Oh, maybe with some light. I can get it with light. No, okay, so there's no light. So inside there is a small potentiometer to sense the position of the servo. And those are snapped in and then glued. And there's no guarantee that they were inserted and snapped in and glued with surgical precision. So that's another source of inaccuracy. And then beyond that, potentiometers themselves aren't super accurate. Based on laying the carbon resistive circle inside, if you've torn one apart, the position of the wiper arm, it's only very approximate. So as a result, when I tell the robot, when you don't get a signal for 10 seconds, go to your neutral position, it goes to what it thinks the neutral position is, but it's going to be off by between 5 and 15 degrees. And that's not even including the dead zone. The way servos work, they're closed loop devices that, with respect to themselves internally, have a closed feedback loop that goes, that can sense the error between the command position and the current position, and then using a PID loop control, it closes that loop to approximately get where you're telling it to go. But there's a dead zone of usually between plus or minus 1.5 degrees. So whenever it gets close enough, it's like, okay, I'm going to stop and hold it there, which could be within 3 degrees of where you commanded it to go. So all these things come together to if you don't take any of that into account and you say go neutral, every one of your joints is crooked, right?
Hey, Tim. Hey, Alan. When I built the auto, the auto robot, I built, it had a special trim setting or a trim capability for the servos that you would store in the non-volatile RAM, and you would adjust that after you assembled and adjust the trim values until everything was perfectly oriented, and then whenever it boots up, it goes to those trim values. Is that part of something you're doing too?
Yeah, and Tim, it's sorry, Jim. That is a really good point, and that's actually part of the solution. So the way this robot is set up is there's very little processing happening on the robot. There is a topic that's set up that accepts PWM values for 16 servos, and it processes them without any translation. So you're not, and this may change in the final version, but you're not sending radians or degrees or PWM. You're actually sending a fractional 16-bit value that represents the PWM waveform length that you want to send from 0 to 65,536 at a 50 hertz rate. So that just means there's some math involved on the computer side, but that may change. But that's exactly what you have to do. So I'm going to go ahead and switch back over to my code now. And there is a program that its only job is to take the joint commands that you're firing off into the ether and to send that over to the robot. So like I said, it looks really complicated for what we do most of the time. But this is the layer, this is the program that runs in the background that says, oh, you want your leg at 0 degrees. Well, let me do some lookups. And, oh, no, that's the wrong one. Sorry, hold on. This is what I get for, that is the wrong package. Type 2, node servo interface. There we go, this looks better. Is that in this particular solution, I have 10 servos, 2 for each leg times 4, that's 8 plus 2 for the head is 10. And I needed a couple of things. There's a preferred order in this array that I want to address them in an order that makes sense to me. So I've got head pan, head tilt, and then the legs in clockwise order from front right. However, that's not the way that they're wired on the PWM board. So I have to include a channel map that says, okay, your head pan joint is on pin 9. And Jim, to your point, is after you get this interface up, I went through and I nudged each of the PWM values, and I could do that in 100 because it's not from 0 to 90. These PWM offsets are in 16-bit PWM values. So I nudged those forwards or backwards until they got pretty close to the natural or neutral position that I was looking for. Of course, you want to do some testing and have it move back and forth because of that dead zone. But after about 20 minutes of experimentation and relaunching it, I had offset or trim values for each of the 10 servos, such that when I bring that stack of programs online, so there's a launch file that says, hey, and I call it bring up, and I say in this bring up, here's all the programs that I want to launch as part of this ROS solution. Bring up live. So each one of these lines represents a thing. There's a configuration file. This line launches that servo interface node or program that in the background will take my joint or angle commands and send them to the robot in the format that it prefers. And then it launches a controller, it launches that RViz visualizer. This is that file that I'm launching when I type in that command, ROS launch Todd the quad type 2. ROS launch means launch this program, launch this solution. This is the name of the package, and this is the name of the launch file. So when that happens, everything shows up. And I wish I had stopped sharing before I did that, but let me go ahead and get back to the camera here. And now that that's running, it's taking advantage of those trim values. The programs running on the computer are saying, okay, I know these have an offset. These are what we call magic numbers, right? So they're hand-tuned values to make a solution work. And as a result, now when I send commands to move into walk, they are calibrated. As Jim said, the trim values are correct, so that more or less what you see on the robot matches matches what it thinks of the position in the world. And so just to wrap this up, because Tim's been hassling me for like months about, hey, Alan, you built a walking robot. Why doesn't it walk? I'm going to wrap up this evening's talk with a quick demo of Alan's walking time. Yay!
That sounds like something Dr. Bruce would say.
Yay, Alan.
It's not.
Finally.
So I'm gonna
World premiere here.
All right, so we got a couple of things going on here. I'm gonna move this over to the left. We have that ROS launch stack of programs running. So you've got, can you guys see this okay? The RViz and the robot here on the right?
Yes.
Yep.
So they go and rearrange the view so you can see it
Go for it.
from the top. And so what you're looking at here, and the walking program that I'm going to show you is actually really silly and straightforward. There's no forward or inverse kinematics. There's no trajectory or motion control. It's just a script applied to all four legs that results in him moving forward. So I'm not even claiming that he walks for real yet. Just
Hey, when I made my first hex walker walk, it was all brute force.
Yeah.
It's just falling with style.
Go for it.
All right. Let's bring him back over to the video clip.
Okay. What's that little robot up in the background there? Yay!
So yeah, he does officially walk.
Finally.
Yay!
Gotta work on it,
Yay.
yeah, but
Nice.
you're getting there.
All right. So does anyone have any questions before I turn it over to Thomas?
Is the code up on your GitHub? All of it?
Not yet. I'm gonna post the new version of the Raspberry Core appliance package first, and then I'll start posting updates to the Todd the Quad Type 2 core code. I at least want to get an inverse kinematics and motion solver up. I mean, the walking thing is cool to look at, but at the end of the day, I want to be able to use, like using a joystick or even better, some intelligence to be able to direct not only the attitude of the robot, but based on the kinematic limits and the attitude of the robot, to be able to define motion in 2 dimensions, or actually 3, both forward, lateral, and with twist, and then have that translated into a series of leg movements that smoothly transition from one stance to another. That's the goal. I think once I have that done or something closer, I'll post the next set of files up.
Cool. I want to try it on my Todd.
And my chunky Todd. we have like mini Todd, you know, the next Todd, and then I have chunky Todd because
I have big boy Todd.
big boy Todd.
Yeah.
How many people have made Todd so far? Just you guys, the 3 of you, or?
I guess, yeah.
There's been a few of us. I think Phil was printing one out. And then Ben and Walter's got one. And the other part of this, for those of you who may not be aware or not following along, just one final plug. Well, not really a plug, I'm not selling anything, is all of the hardware plans for Todd are available on Thingiverse, as well as GrabCAD. So the hardware's solid, it works. I just need to stop dragging my feet and get some more of the code out there. Let's see if that search works. So the 3D printable files are available on Thingiverse, and if you want to grab the 3D files, you can download them from GrabCAD, especially if you want to modify them. This is a great place to grab some modifiable 3D files to do your own version or your own versions of it.
Oh, my battery's dead. But this is a chunky Todd because it's got a big belly, it's got a bigger battery. So chunky Todd. Anyway.
Yeah, Ben, do you have your Todd at the ready? Do you have it? Is he within arm's reach?
I have it here, but I don't have a camera set up.
Oh, okay. All right, next time then, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, so that's all I've got today. Again, thanks everyone for showing up. We're going to try to have this every week. And I think to wrap up today's, before we get to open session, Is Thomas, are you ready to do a little man cave garage tour?
Okay.
Oh, there we are. I'm echoing. Hold on.
Oh, yeah, Thomas, it looks like you're on twice. You may want to mute one of your mics.
You're muted now.
Yeah,
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, but there's an echo.
Do you have a speaker on there or
Just
something?
turn your volume down.
We're getting some kind of feedback, like if you have a speaker on.
Yeah, you have an external speaker?
You're muted.
Oh, I'll mute.
Don't turn it
How
all the
about
way
now?
down, just a little down.
That's better.
There you go.
Yeah, because I was running in two spots from my phone and from my computer. In case I got disconnected in one, I had the other. And it looks like the computer started using, what is it called? Those
Oh, did we
the
lose
time
him?
it creates a filter.
We're getting cut out.
Can you hear me? That's
You're cutting off.
Your connection's not very good.
Yeah,
yes.
he has bad internet in his house.
Welcome to my
Yeah,
world.
you're cutting off.
There's too many robots in the way.
You have to run a repeater back to your room.
The robots
A lot of
dampen the
electric
signal.
inside there.
Yep.
And I think we lost
So we had a little earthquake, a few minutes
Yeah,
ago.
it was
I
in the
didn't feel anything.
chats. People have been chatting.
Yep, I felt it.
Oh, I didn't
I
feel
went
it.
like this,
Unless I just happened to be walking.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
felt
feel
it.
Hey, is
I
that
don't
okay?
think you
Can
hear
you
me
hear me now, or should I go to the other connection?
We can hear you now, but you were frozen for like a minute there.
Yeah,
Okay,
you lost video of you.
If you lose it, if I lose it again, somebody just tell me, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So this is the tour of my robot room, and if you have any questions, just shout out. This is a stand-up of the Lost in Space robot. A few of you may remember that I built one of these things. I brought it into the club meeting, oh God, what, 8 or 10 years ago, right, Tim?
Yep.
Wow.
And,
Sorry, I missed
You
that.
sold that thing.
I sold it. I needed some money one time, and I sold it. So I no longer have the full-size version, although it did have Leap inside of it at one point.
Well, I redid your whole electronics on that sucker.
You did, Tim. I remember. And as we go around the room, I was a big fan of the Lost in Space actor, and Bob here. And I have his autograph there. I used to take my B9 robot, the big guy here, to the autograph conventions, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
Over here,
I enjoyed that.
you went with me, Tim, one time. I remember.
Yeah, I was sitting behind Bill Mummy, yeah.
Yeah, we saw them all, didn't we?
Oh, yeah.
And over here we have some of the dog robots I've collected over the years. As to their individual names, I think the black one's is Shadow, and I don't remember the names of the other ones. And we have some more toys. I collect a lot of toys here. Over here, we've had a number of expos, and a lot of you have been to these expos and have exhibited. Put your hand up if you have. Put your hand up. Yes, I see the hand. I see the hand up. Yes, there we go. This is my T2. I had to put somewhere. I have a wig on it, obviously. So this thing I bought. I don't know, 10 years. Yeah. I bought this several years ago, and then recently I had the hand here. You see the hand? That's a new addition to my collection. It's made of 3D printed. I did not print it myself. I started and I got impatient, and I kind of just bought it. Next we see Melvis the robot. Some of you have seen him in action. He is not hooked up tonight, so I can't show it. A lot of these robots are in the middle of upgrades and such, so they're not running. And let's see. This is the robot that started me on my quest to make the perfect fembot. The original Betty 9.
Thomas, I think we lost you again.
We lost him.
Uh-oh.
Lost you, Thomas.
Cut off, Thomas.
Betty's revenge.
Oh, he's got terrible internet connection.
Betty's mad.
Because he's turned his volume down, he can't hear us anyways.
From
Betty
room
just-
to room, it goes haywire most of the time.
He needs a repeater. Yeah. Extender.
Yeah, I don't think he has Wi-Fi.
Well, there's internet towers around where he lives are hard to get in his house sometimes. It may be good in one room, but terrible in the next.
Oh, he doesn't have Wi-Fi, you said?
No, he's got direct cable through like a router box. You know, you're standing behind that chandelier and you're sitting there. It looks like you're wearing a crown.
It doesn't. I know. I didn't know. Yeah, maybe like this.
It looks like you're wearing a crown right now. You're right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
That's okay, Jim. It's cool. I like that.
I'll stand to the side.
I'm just relaxing on my bed at the moment. I don't have very much room in my room.
Where are you,
Okay,
Thomas?
seems like we lost Thomas.
So he doesn't. Yeah. Yeah. Is he gone
He's completely
from the
gone.
list?
Yeah, he's completely gone now.
He'll have to- he'll-
There he is.
There he
Oh,
is.
Hey, Thomas.
Oh, he's in the small
Hi,
view.
Tim. All right.
Take two.
Uh-oh.
Sounds dangerous.
Bandwidth is low.
Uh-oh.
So he doesn't have cable or something.
I'm not sure what he's got, actually. But he's
Mesh Wi-Fi. That's the new way. Yeah. I don't even have it though.
my roommate's got all the internet
Let me
stuff in
open the
his
door.
room.
Maybe it's blocking some of the signal.
All right, there he is.
I'm going through. He's finding his router. Oh, there you go, Walter.
And this is a
Yeah,
full
another year
size.
now, another year older. Uh-oh. How you got the
Am I
lights
back?
working?
You're cutting off really bad.
Really bad there. I just saw C3PO for a second.
I can try connecting from the computer. Let me try from the computer. I'm going to shut it down and join you back in a second. Okay, let's
Okay.
try it again.
Okay.
So what is everyone else building right now? Hey, Rob, how's your Johnny 5? Can you present next week?
Oh, you
Can
can
we
hear
get
me.
preview?
I'm muted.
Yeah, I can
Sorry.
hear you.
That looks cool, man.
I thought I muted. Let me turn the other light on. You can see him a little better, maybe.
Johnny, that looks so cute.
When I was working for one of my special effects company, I had to go over to Jaeger's shop, so I got to see one of the original Johnny Fives up really close. That was cool.
This is my Johnny. I
That
have
looks
got
cool.
the eyes for him. I haven't put them in yet. I don't know if they're going to fit, to be quite honest. Lately, but I'm working on his speaker box. I've created a new one. The old one, the original stuff was actually all FM. It was just basically, they did it through an FM transmitter. They put the, FM receiver in there and played it through, and sure it worked great. I never really played with it. But I pulled all that out, got an amplifier that I could hook up via Bluetooth and run off 12 volts. And then I basically just had a tablet that I played music from. And there's an actual, believe it or not, there's a Johnny 5 app on the Google Play Store. And
really?
I got that, and you can use that to play sounds and stuff through them. The new system I'm building, I'll be able to actually trigger. I have one of those little, those little relay triggers they sell. A lot of the R2 guys use them. And then so what I'll do is I actually have both channels. I'll have it come out of both channels. One channel will drive the lip lights, so he actually talks. The other channel would drive the speaker. Actually, and I'll run the speaker up to his head, so it actually does sound like he's talking. And then
Also, like split a stereo channel or something.
yeah. And then the new amplifier that I got actually supports subwoofer out. I did add a subwoofer to the original system that I installed, and it really helped just broaden the sounds that was coming out of Johnny, because it sounded really weak. I did put new speakers in the front. The old ones were blown out. His speakers are right here. And so I ended up building a custom wood box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you might be able to see it down there.
Oh, you put them down there in this lower.
Yeah, and I went over to Electronics Warehouse in Riverside, and they actually, for like $4, they were selling crossovers. And
really?
I think like a 5-inch subwoofer, maybe a 4-inch subwoofer in there. I know not big, but
Electronic Warehouse is cool.
yeah. And then so I ran that through the subwoofer and it really just, it really improved the sound that's coming out of Johnny a lot. And usually what I do when I take them out, I'll play music through them, and if nothing's going on, I'll have them sit there and play music for people. But it really improved the sound quality that was coming in. Just give it a lot more low end and a lot.
Do they have any audio files there of Johnny's original voice?
There is some on the app, but they're pulled from the movie. I believe some of the builders have, some of the actual audio files. And if you go to Input Inc., I think there's a ton of files on there as well. I pulled them all down. I haven't bothered to play with them yet, but I have pulled them all down.
I've been messing around with several cool audio cards. If you use this one card, you can put as many up to 255 sounds in there if you want to make them all go.
Nice.
And it's got 16.
Yeah, I have used the SparkFun MP3 trigger that a lot of the R2 guys use. It's a great card.
I've used the Wave trigger in several projects. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've actually found a cheaper one that I've been using. It's only 9 triggers, but it's got its own onboard amplifier, and it sounds phenomenal. It only runs at 5 volts.
Yeah, that's great. I've used that one too on certain occasions, but I've been having some applications where I actually used a key fob thing to be able to scroll down through the tracks and play them in any order I want.
That's cool.
Little key fob.
Yeah.
I had to make that for a client, and it turned out really cool.
A friend of mine, StarCar friend, as a matter of fact, they did come to one of the Riverside Robotics builders meetings. He wanted me to put sounds in his console, in the top console of his kit car. And he showed me, finally got that. I built something for him. He finally got it installed and put in. So he shared.
Was that the guy that brought the kit car to the Robotics Riverside meeting once?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, I
got that installed, and he showed me some videos of it working
for him, and it didn't work out, unfortunately.
Yeah. So, anyway, so there's that. I do have another buddy of mine who wanted to build a character that didn't talk, and he wanted something on his wrist. He can press buttons and make it talk, for him. And so I said, well, I'll give it a shot. And so I ended up I'd say maybe a week or two, I built something for him that he wore on his wrist. And unfortunately, the character didn't work out. But, and I've never shared it because I wanted him to share it.
Well, I just came across this cool little chip that's basically a web server on a chip with a static IP. And I'm thinking about setting up some things to control some things that you could control with an app on your phone.
That's cool. Yeah,
So
Input Inc.
it's like a static.
There's a lot of stuff for Johnny 5 on Input Inc.
It's like a static web page you can set up with buttons, and a little GUI on there and stuff.
Sweet.
Found something on Amazon. I was thinking about ordering the board here in the next week or so.
So one of the things I've been kind of inspired by when I did build the wrist thing And next time you see it, remind me, and I'll show you. I have videos of it, of it working, and some of the internals that I did. But it's kind of inspired me a little bit to maybe do some more kind of wearable stuff. My biggest thing is I kind of want to get a 3D printer so I can actually make some stuff that the boxes and stuff that you can have on your, make for your wrist to wear. But yeah, it really kind of inspired me to build some other stuff.
Like
that.
what's her face had on Futurama, a little control thing on her wrist or arm or whatever.
Well, even you can even just do an Arduino with the touch screens and just have it just show random stuff, just random animations too.
Well, there's a version of this chip I was just looking on thing that actually has a small little graphics display on it. I was thinking about getting it later down the road, but I want to get some experience with this thing because I have somebody who wants to use that to control a car or something, and so
that'd be great. Yeah, just a little stuff. So I thought about, like I said, I've been thinking about stuff with wearables. I'm going to be probably home for quite a while now, as I think most of you probably know on here is I'll be having surgery soon. I finally got my date.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you okay? Is it something?
I have two bad leaking heart valves.
Oh.
So I have to have open heart surgery to fix them.
It's a heart surgery thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll put you on my prayer list.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
When are you going in?
August 18th.
Okay. All right, I'll keep in touch with me. You got a way to contact me now.
So I'll be doing this more often. And like I said, it's kind of opened me up to stay home. And there's other projects I'm going to build. Definitely some Back to the Future stuff. I've been doing the Back to the Future stuff.
Well, I mean, I used to live up in the Rubidoux area. I went to Rubidoux High School when I was younger.
Okay. Yeah. So, but I had some more Back to the Future inspired stuff. I've been making, leaps and bounds improvements on some of the stuff I've been doing with it, and so just tweaking and adding and improving. And I'm, it's an ongoing project that I'm just constantly playing with. And that's the one thing that people complain about is like, you guys always change it, and we always want the upgrades. So.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. So. It's hard to keep it. It's hard to keep it up to date sometimes,
I mean, that's the model though too. If you think about it, that's what they've been doing with music and movies forever. It's like you'll buy the movie, and then a year later, oh, it's director's cut. We go out and buy it again. Well, you just paid pretty much
right now. We got the director's cut, and all that stuff. And then you got to buy it all over again.
Yeah, but we offer a discount. Yeah, we'll give you the upgrades, and for kind of price.
Oh, Johnny 5 looks cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, are the tracks metal?
Yeah, he is actually probably 95%, maybe 97% metal.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay. Cool.
Wow.
Well, whenever you're ready, maybe you want to give us more details later on.
Well, and there's some stuff I want to do and change, and I've been talking with a couple people. Let me change. I definitely want to change out the drive motors in them because they're old. I believe Phil told me they're shunt motors, and shunt motors pull a lot of power because there's no permanent magnet in it. They actually use a coil.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so you actually you're energizing the coil plus energizing the coils inside.
They're probably from an old Everest and Jennings wheelchair, I bet you.
It could be. This
Yeah,
thing was actually built
right.
in Argentina.
Yeah, they used to do those.
That's the type of technology on the motors on the wheels on that particular brand.
But I believe I do have a couple of the scooter motors that you've been using. I think you and I will chat a little bit, Walter, with your experiences. I do have a Sabertooth drive, and but what I want to do is, and I believe I have bought some, and they're boxed up in the garage. It's one of those I got it and forgot it kind of things. But I'm almost positive. I can check my eBay purchase
Lots of
history.
stuff up back there.
But yeah, and so what I'm probably going to do is I'll have to probably do a custom mount on them, and then I want them to drive. There's if you look right here, get enough light if you guys can see it. But this drive right here is a 30-to-1.
Oh, gee.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you really got, to really get them moving, it doesn't take a lot, but if you really want to get them moving, you have to really spin it quite quick. The nice thing is, to get them moving, it doesn't take, because of the gear reduction, it doesn't take a lot. So I don't need a lot of power. I just need, basically just to turn. So,
there was quite a bit of an improvement from short circuit 1 to short circuit 2. So
yeah. So, but yeah, I want to pull those out and pull out the motors. put new motors in that I can, just basic, just DC motors. And again, I don't think it's going to take a lot of power to turn these, to get them at least moving.
I mean, short circuit tooling went from radio control on the arms to actually a Waldo system for the arms.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually got to go over at Jaeger's shop a couple times and talk with him. He's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Actually, he had one where he had a robot body on top of a 6-wheeled vehicle with Omni wheels on it.
Oh, that's cool. I definitely want to do the Warner Brothers tour. They got Johnny Five over there.
Oh, wow.
The tour, yeah. If we could do a, once this is all clears up, maybe we can do like an outing or something.
Well, he was at one point. He was selling these things that you could put a Makita power pack in. Remember the old black long power pack?
Yeah.
He was selling his own adapters. You could plug that in and plug it into something else. And for several projects I worked on for various other special effects companies, I bought a bunch of them from him.
Yeah, that's cool.
Cool. Well, I don't know if Thomas is still good to go.
Thomas is here.
Hey,
Can you hear
Thomas.
me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're back. It seems to be a lot better through my PC, except the camera's not as good.
Oh yeah, there's your radio thing there.
Okay. So, Terminator, you stopped. You saw that. I don't know how much of this you actually saw.
Saw that already.
Okay. Thanks, Tim.
Saw
Yeah,
that
we
already.
got stuck on the fembot.
Yeah,
You got
you're
stuck on the
there.
fembot. Okay, there's the
Fembot,
fembot. Okay, and also have this
Eddie got nervous.
plaque of Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator here.
Yeah, it's one of the makeup things that you did on him.
I've got quite a few R2-D2 toys, as you can see here. And I also have them over here. I even have one R2-D2 that's about 1/3 of an inch tall. Let's see if I can get it in the frame. That's kind of hard to see, isn't it?
Yeah, you got a lot of stuff in that display case, man.
Yeah, the little tiny one in the middle, next to C3PO.
Oh, gee, that is really tiny.
That's about 1/3 of an inch tall. That's the smallest one I have. And I never built one. I started but never finished. As Robert would tell you, it's a lot of work and a lot of money.
It is.
And I
Yeah,
have
I talked with Mike Sienna recently. Yeah, it's been pretty busy doing stuff.
All right, and this is, of course, C3PO, full scale. And thanks to Steve Cook, I have eyes that are lighting up. Obviously, they're overwhelming the camera, so you can't see them very well. Let's see if I can get it to adjust. No, just going to overwhelm the camera. And for the longest time, I didn't have any legs. And then Walter did this. He printed me a pair of legs. I've got to paint them gold one of these days. And
Oh, why not? Just leave them that. Looks cool.
Thank you, Walter. And I have these arms over here. See, those are the arms on the arms. See how that works? And
Creepy.
It is
Yeah.
creepy.
yeah, my daughter suggested that. Maya, you know, a lot of you know Maya.
Oh, she put them on the couch like that.
Yeah, they're just sitting there.
Oh, she's always silly anyway, but okay.
Yeah. And there's Sunny from iRobot. I got the full scale one finally.
That's nice
Yeah.
looking.
Yeah, those are hard to come by.
They are. You didn't make very many of those.
No, and I have a large number of Star Wars spaceships, Star Wars and Star Trek, including the Borg Cube.
Hey, have you seen the Picard stuff at all, Thomas?
I have, and I really liked it.
Did you see the season finale episode?
I did.
Oh, speaking of Picard, I got some Indian stuff I can't talk about.
No
So
spoilers.
what happened to Picard? You'll be spilling the beans. so to
Actually, it's
speak.
very good. They just wrapped up the first season, so there's 10 episodes, so you can watch them all back to back, back to back.
And you can watch them for free with a free trial now.
Well, Ben turned me on to the Leon Flix thing. That's how I watched the stuff with.
Yeah, I wouldn't announce that to too many people, Tim.
Well,
And
the next season 2 on The Mandalorian is going to be pretty good because they're going to bring Ahsoka Tano in there as a real character. So it should be
I believe you. And this is K9 from Doctor Who. This is
That's
1/6
Doctor Who,
scale.
right?
Yeah, Doctor Who. You got it.
80s vintage.
Yeah.
If he had batteries in him, he could talk to you.
I worked
And-
on making a thing for a Doctor Who what do they call it, parody for some people in Las Vegas. We remade the interior part of the TARDIS to look like the David Tennant TARDIS interior.
And here I have some more B9s, and I have the Lost in Space robot from the movie that came out, what, 15, 20 years ago? And I have a Robbie next to him. I always wanted a full-scale Robbie. And there's a Bender, and a lot of TV robots that you'll probably recognize.
Well, I mean, I knew a guy by the name of Bill Malone. He had he finally got hold of the original Robbie the Robot, which he just recently sold. But it was fun.
And I have some.
We climb inside it once.
And I have the robot from the day the Earth stood still, a little tin model of him.
Well, you got Gort there, yeah.
And
oh, yeah, you got
Wally and a Dalek.
Yeah,
and,
you got Big Hero 6 and Astro Boy.
Tim, you want to narrate? You can narrate it if you want. That'll give me a time. I can catch my breath here.
I mean, I got the same model of the Big Hero 6 one here in my room. But
and I have a bunch of Astro Boys there as well.
Hmm.
And I have Meccano. Anybody got Meccano? He used to work. I haven't plugged him in years. I want to give him away to some worthwhile kid who will do something with him. If anybody has any idea, any kid that would like a 3.5 or 4 foot tall Meccano robot, let me know. But they got to have a good story. He usually doesn't have a wig. I just threw that on top of him. I'd do something with these wigs. People think I'm a little strange. I buy clothing and wigs for my robots. I was looking for a wig for Data here.
Well, they have to wear something.
Yeah, especially the fembots. People get upset when the fembots are naked. I don't understand.
They're humanoid. They need something.
yeah, I know.
This is my full-scale Data, and he's a statue currently, and I'd like to animate him. He's on the list of things to do, which we'll probably get to in probably not this decade. I'm looking at next decade.
Well, we'll see, Thomas.
I have a Mr. Machine. Anybody remember Mr. Machine?
Yeah, I had one of those until my brother broke it.
That's a vintage 1974. Not the first year, but certainly an antique.
It is.
What does the machine do?
You wind him up and he just he just sort of walks.
He does. You wind him up and he walks. That's all he does. And he whistles. He used to whistle anyway.
Oh, he does make a sound when he opens his mouth, but yeah.
And this is my head here. My head. This is the mannequin head with the, what do they call, snake eyes, right? This little program with 2 little monitor screens for it. And the camera doesn't do it half as good a justice as it really is. It's pretty amazing for the people. A lot of you have seen this. I brought it to the club meeting several times.
Yeah, they made a better one you could buy now. Sort of cool.
Yes, and next to that is, of course, the lovely robot Betty 9, all dressed up for St. Patty's Day.
Oh, I was wondering why she had green hair.
Yes, green hair, yes. And next to her is my full-scale Terminator. He was working really well until
You stripped one of the gears and they head out.
You got that right.
So, I mean, he needs a gear transplant, man.
He needs a gear transplant. And he doesn't have a real gun. He has this fake gun. because it was for work, this project. It was for the Halloween contest, and they said I wasn't allowed to bring a real gun into work. Can you imagine that? I just don't understand.
Oh, well.
Oh, well. And here's one of the robot art pieces I've sold off and given away. Every other one, I had about 60 of them. Now this is the only one I have left.
Oh, that and the one in the corner.
Oh, yeah, and the one in the corner. And then, let me flip the power switch here. This is something that Tim helped create a lot of years ago. Remember this one, Tim?
That was the piggy bank thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's the donation robot.
I didn't know that you still had that working.
And the voice still works. Let me see. I'm going to put a point in here.
Thank you for your donation. Please enjoy the expo. Yum, yum, yum. More money, more money.
That's your voice.
Yeah, that's my voice coming out of it. Yeah,
And
you had a coin sorter in there, so I tell you what, depending on what size coin it would say something different.
and I have a life-size BB-8 lamp. It's not a robot, it's a lamp, but it's life-size, and I like it. Oh, and I have a robot dinosaur toy. Anyway, that concludes the tour. Any questions before I hand this back to Alan or Ben or somebody else?
Well, that was cool, Thomas. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, very good.
Thomas.
Thank you, Thomas.
Yeah,
You're
so
welcome.
Thomas,
I finally got it to work. I thought it wouldn't go with the bandwidth issue and such.
so Thomas, quick question. We asked the same thing of Walter as he concluded his band cave tour. How many robots do you think you have right now?
Are we talking toys or real robots?
Sure.
Real robots, functional robots, or semi-functional. About 50. That would be a conservative estimate. Toys, add another 200.
Wow, that's an impressive collection.
That's
That's a lot.
that's the most of us.
Hey, Thomas, you also have a big garage, actually bigger than mine that you haven't even shown. And you got a ton of stuff in there also. That's what you showed was your robot room inside the house.
Yeah.
You know, we haven't seen your garage yet. So one of these
really
days,
cool
let us
things on
know.
the machine.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, next time. And oh, you can see Jibo in back of me. I forgot to tell you, I got the Jibo. They say the servers are back up. I haven't hooked it. One of my favorite living organisms. It recognizes me.
Yeah, it's looking at you.
Oh, and I got another one down here. I got Vector. Can you see Vector here? Vector. Say Vector. How are you?
Oh,
Can
that's
you see
cute.
that? There's Vector.
Very cool.
Uh-oh.
He wants
Anyway,
to he wants to play with the glue gun.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
Yeah, I got an email from the buyers of Anki saying they're rejuvenating the work or doing something useful to help keep it going.
Well, that's
Oh,
good.
that'd be cool.
Our purchases will not be worthless yet. Hey, Vector, what time is it? Hey, Vector, how are you?
That's cute, Thomas.
It is. It's one of the best robots I ever bought.
Did you get it on discount or was that before?
Oh, I got a discount. I got him for 99 bucks.
Have you played around with the API at all?
With the what?
The API?
Oh, heck no. I don't have any time for that.
Oh, so you do recommend him, huh? They probably can. Now they're cheap, pretty cheap, I imagine.
when you're trying to impress somebody with robots and the one you made just isn't working, pull him out. You'll amuse a lot of people.
Oh, you want to
That's
sleep.
totally true.
Yeah, they put a lot of effort into that little social robot.
It's really
very
hard to
good.
do the social aspects. I think that's requires art. I interviewed with them, and my friend Charles worked for Anki, and it's just it's like a video game company's worth of artists and engineers and creative people and animators and psychologists, everything. You know.
Yeah, when I was looking at doing research on social robots, that one came up quite a bit.
Yeah,
this
it's
little
one of
vector. Yeah.
it blows away some of the. I mean, well, it's not a humanoid, but it kind
Yeah.
of it's better than like that's what is it, the Sophie or the I don't know,
Sophia.
Sophia, yeah.
Sophia.
Yeah, I
That's
like a lot
Hanson
about
Robotics.
Sophia, but she's not very smart.
She's okay, I guess, but yeah.
Well, Mr. Hanson's pretty cool, but again, to me, all he's did was make a really cool face that with servos and stuff that you could animate. And then one thing he came up with his own skin thing, which is more flexible than silicone.
That's very good. I mean, that was a big achievement.
Yeah, I mean, before he moved out of the country, I think he's moved his offices over to Japan or China somewhere. He was here in California for a while, or no, Arizona. I talked to him on the phone several times. He was cool to talk to.
Ooh.
I mean, they stuck his head on several different other robots. I mean, he had the Einstein head on a robot that was similar to Osmo walking around.
Yeah, that's funny.
And then Sophia's body's made by some other company, but her head and face and stuff that he made or his company made. I mean, he's worked on several generations, but it's just a servo-driven face.
Hey, Victor, where are you? Victor, over here. Over here. Victor, fist bump. Oh, he's kind of grumpy.
Uh-oh. Doesn't like being picked
He's
up.
grumpy. Oh, he got angry at me.
Uh-oh, he got mad.
You got him mad. The robots are rebelling.
Uh-oh, watch out, man. Good thing he's small.
Just don't look.
All humans must die. I don't know.
Yeah, wait till Elon Musk puts that.
Yeah, that's just what I was gonna say. Don't let him get Elon Musk's feedback to the human.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy, the robot will be like, "Do you know what pain is?" I'll show you.
I'll show you pain. That's a cute little robot, though, Thomas.
Let's keep him in the cute stage.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Victor, I'm over here.
You guys remember Furby?
Oh yeah. I have one of those toys from the early '80s. I forgot.
I still have mine somewhere. I'm not sure where it's at, but yeah, it was a fun thing to play with.
I have one of these, Tim. Well, you've seen this one before, haven't you? The kitten, the cat.
I can't see what you're looking at there. No, that's
so cute.
That's a Petster thing. Yeah.
A Petster, 1980s.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Nolan Bushnell Company.
Oh, I wanted one of those so bad. Oh.
Yeah, they were so cute. Couldn't afford one at the time.
That's cool. Was it cassette based? Did it have a cassette player?
No, it had some limited amount of sensors, and it basically reacted to things.
Oh. Okay.
Now, I used to work at a video arcade. They had this one video game was Burger Time. It actually booted up off a little micro cassette.
Oh yeah, that was my TRS-80 also. That's where I used to save all my programs on a cassette.
Well, this is actually a video game. It actually, when it started up in the morning, it actually booted off a little micro cassette player and built into the game.
Oh, okay.
I used to work for Chuck E. Cheese Pizza Time Theater in the Anaheim Fullerton area, so I was between a couple different stores as a store technician.
Cool.
And I was home base was at one of the Fullerton store.
And now you own one of the Chuck E. Cheese skeletons, huh?
I have one, and my other friend that has the other one's up at his ranch in Yosemite. But yeah, between us we have several.
Nice.
Plus one in the roll around case that can be programmed.
Tim, you got that handy? Can you show me?
It's outside. I don't think you can see it. It's too dark to see it right now.
Next week, next meeting, okay? I want to see it, right?
Well, unfortunately, it's all wrapped up. I mean, I got it to the point where it would actually fire a. If you missed the target, it would fire a Nerf gun back at you. I brought it to one of the meetings one time. I think, Walter, didn't I?
You did, yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
So maybe you want to put something together next time, and you can show off a little bit of it.
I don't know. I mean, I got all the stuff in the box, and I have to get it all out, and I am not even sure because I've just been covered up outside on the front porch, and I don't know if it even works anymore.
Okay.
Okay, guys, that brings up a point. How are we gonna schedule who's gonna present? Should we have like a sign-up sheet or something that we can do like maybe 2 presentations per Friday?
Yeah.
How are we gonna do that?
Yeah, we need some way.
I would say the people who are going to be conducting the meeting should have a meeting, and anybody wants to sort of present ahead of time, then that gives them time to coordinate everything.
That sounds like a good idea for us.
We need a central email to send out the request who wants to present. You know, it could be Ben or anybody, any one of us, and Ben can organize it, and I can host it, or Alan can host it.
Right. So let's have a sticky post on our Google Groups for whoever wants to present, and whoever wants to present can put on their post, and from there I can grab them, and at the first come first serve will be the next up.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I like to see also RAS and how it was made. Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, you'd have to talk to
Mike. He's there.
He's
Yeah,
here,
Mike's
or
Mike's
he's
there.
here, or he was here. We can talk.
No, he's still there.
He's still there. He's just
Mike
muted.
White, are you there?
There
Mike's
he is.
still there.
Yeah, there's Mike.
Yeah, his mic is muted.
Okay, maybe he wants to present next week. We can
Mike.
have him present, and if he can.
How's it going?
Can you give us a presentation on the building of your robot?
Sure.
Next week.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, Walter, let me see if I can put back the animatronic figure.
Okay.
Or maybe I can get it working again. I don't know. I haven't messed with it in a while.
Well, let me know, Tim, and maybe next Friday we can do Mike and Tim. Do we know if Dr. Bruce
I
is
don't know
going to
yet.
do another presentation?
It's going to take me more than a week to get it back running, I think.
Yeah. What time?
Same time, 6.
6. Okay.
Are you able to next week, Friday?
Around 5:45 to 6.
All
Yeah,
right,
no
so
problem.
we got Mike for next week.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Before everybody leaves, may I make another suggestion?
Go ahead, Forrest.
Since we're all sort of linked in through Meetups or meetup.com, however you want to look at it, why don't we have a posting for just everybody post on their page that this is going to be going on as an ongoing meeting for every Friday then?
I believe we posted that.
I can do that on the Riverside.
Yeah, so Forrest, that's a really good point. I really dropped the ball this week. Thank goodness Thomas caught me and put something up early this morning. Now that it looks like this is a format, we have the time and date nailed down, and I'm personally out of excuses. I'll start pushing more of this information through social media, through our Facebook pages, and we'll set up something on our meetup groups to let us and all the members know as well. That's a very good idea.
It's a learning
like
curve. Everybody's trying something new, so this is new.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're making it work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey Ben, I have I can do my robot, this one here, in a few weeks or whenever.
Do you want to do it next week?
Oh,
This
nice.
is the Slam Tech.
So we have Mike and maybe you for the second hour. Do you guys want to do an entire hour or like how?
I don't need it that much time.
Okay, I mean, whatever time you can do. After that, we can do, just hanging out and talking like we've been doing.
Okay.
It depends on how much the format, how much detail should a usual presentation take. Probably 50, I think 15, 20 minutes is, it's show and tell for something, just the basic overview, and a more in-depth one like that's scheduled ahead of time can be an hour, but it seems like 15, 20 minutes, at least 20 minutes is a good, to keep things moving.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, hey, Phil, I didn't see you there.
All right, so do we want to call it quits now, or what's happening?
Yeah.
Sounds
Okay.
good. We're at the
Yep, I think we're
at the
dinner
2-hour mark.
All right.
Okay.
I
Okay,
haven't had my supper yet.
All right. So
sounds good.
we'll probably
Alan,
be posting
you
this.
have, Alan, you have control of the meeting, so when you stop it, it'll stop recording.
Okay, got it.
Have a great weekend.
All right. See you guys later again.
Thank you,
Stay
guys.
safe, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Good job.
Bye.
Good job, people.
I guess I'll see you guys next week.
Thank
or
you.
so.
Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Ben, thanks for saying hi to us. We didn't want to interrupt the meeting.
Bye.
No problem.
Hey, no problem, Buzz.
Good presentation, gentlemen.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And hello to all the other people that didn't say anything, but will say hello and goodbye.
This is
At the
one
same
of the most boring birthdays I've had so
Thanks
far.
for sharing. It was awesome. Shabbat shalom.
We gotta wish Tim a happy birthday.
Yep.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, we'll
Happy
say
birthday.
happy birthday
Happy
to Tim
birthday,
here.
Tim.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Tim.
birthday.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Tim.
Nice to see
All right, you guys
everyone.
see you guys
See ya.
next week.
All right,
Yeah.
bye. Stay
Next
safe,
Bye.
everybody.
All right. See you guys later.
Take care.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.